And we're live. Is my mic on? I hope my mic's on. If it's not, it should be. Blinking light means it's on. No, blinking light means it's off. Whatever. Anyways, hello everyone. Well, no one. Well, everyone. Some people. I see two viewers. This is very last minute, very unprofessional. My room is dirty. Well, just uncleaned. I keep remembering the reading Y did for me, and he was like, you need he one of the things that he said, like, cleaning up your room. I'm like, it's so cramped, I can only clean it so much. Like, honestly, making my bed is cleaning my room at this point. I just need bookshelf, like good bookshelves. I feel, that'll clean out a lot of the mess. You can see, like, that white thing is from the what's it called, the slumbering, whatever, the Cosmic Slumber Tarot limited edition. I'm like, I'm gonna use the tin for something. But anyways, so the topic of today is just a product of, like, uh, of talking with the uh, Tarot Tube and Tea group, and we were, and well, we're like just between me, Y, and Annika. I think Lucy's a bit busy, um, but in discussing this, we were talking about, like, what tarot even is, and what we have to, what makes tarot, and, like, all this stuff. Hello, Pepper Jackie. uh and all the questions of, like, what is it, what even is it, how, why do we even use it? And I think, and I've talked on this several times in past live streams, and I've said, like, well, working with tarot particularly, it requires a certain there's a certain way of working with it. And I've come to the conclusion, that tarot collecting is not working with tarot. Just buying and shopping for decks is not working with tarot. And I'm like, I know, groundbreaking, but it's like, sometimes things have to just be confirmed and said out loud to solidify it and make that clear boundary of, like, it's not this. um so yeah, so it's like, what is tarot exactly? Because when you get into the nitty gritty of it, like, what defines it, and what are the parameters of it, and what makes tarot, and also working with the tarot, what is the best way to work with it? Not necessarily the best way to work with it, but what is the purpose of working with it, and what is the point of it? Let's see. Buying and shopping for tarot, you mean? Or is that a typo? What is that? How do you get that? Terrell? It's no longer tarot. It's Terrell. It's like buying art to me. And it's like, yeah, it's like, but there's a difference between, like, buying art and then, like, consuming art and dissecting art and understanding art. Because, again, buying art is like, are you using it for decorative reasons? Again, what is the practicality to it? And I think Annika also mentions that, uh, uh, is that art in itself, uh, art is art for itself. Like, there is no uh, practical use to that. Oh, you said it on the microphone. Oh, the mic. You said voice to text. They don't know. You got to say, like, tarot or something. I don't know. I don't know if they'll remember that. Which reminds me, I remember one of the first few readings that I did with my friends. It was for the sister of one of my friends. She called tarot tarots, and it made me cringe. Hello, Sacred Sequence Tarot Salia. Yeah, hello. Um, so yeah, this is like a little bit, what are we trying to say? you know? Because a lot of people will say tarot is a deck of 78 cards. And it's like, well, if you look at the past of it, hello, Era 92. If we look at the past of tarot, it's like, well, the 22 majors have been, like, disputed as to whether there even were 22 majors. Like, in the Visconti's Forza, the oldest, most complete deck that we have, it shows that, there's the tower and the devil card missing in those decks. And it's like, were those even there, were they damaged and went missing? Were they destroyed? Like, what was that? Was that even the time and the place to have cards like that in the deck? And it's like, it's more like I leave it up in the air to be like, well, maybe they were, maybe they weren't. Because honestly, then we have decks like the Minkiati and other decks that like have way less majors in there. It's sort of grew on its own over time, I believe. What have I been up to? Babysitting, watching my nephew, my baby nephew. Uh, let's see. But that was last weekend for the next few weeks, I believe. So yeah, hello Gunhild K. So yeah, and trying to read books in those spare time, but also what else? There's been a few other things, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Um, I'm not sure what else I've been up to. Just babysitting. Spending money on things I shouldn't. Uh, let's see. Yeah, the art of the tarot can lead to different intuition readings, I feel. Well, it's like this is getting into other things as well. It's like, what is intuition then? That now we're branching off into other things, which I have like mixed ideas and unclear definitions of what intuition is, because I think a lot of people have different ideas when it comes to certain words. So like, again, that's why I'm trying to define like what exactly is tarot. Now we're getting into what is intuition and what is readings and what is intuitive readings and what is the reading itself and all that. It's like, I have to like ground and solidify what those meanings are specifically, so we know what we're talking about. That's what we're kind of doing here. So we're going to leave intuition for something else, because I think a lot of people say intuition and they're kind of like leaning in more into like psychic stuff and not necessarily what intuition possibly could be or what it actually. I don't know. Like I said, so yeah. Sacred Sequence Tarot has a lot. I have a ton of crystal. You and Y should submit your favorite crystal and enter to win. What is this for? Is this like on Instagram or something, or is this on your channel? Oh, and Lucy. I mean, I'm pretty okay on crystals, crystals and stones, mostly because I don't really work with them. uh, but, pretty fun. I think I'm more into like carved stones now. I'm leaning more towards that. Like, I want to get like small precious stones carved into like gods or goddesses or like symbols and all of that. So I'd want to look into that rather than like just an oval or a rock or a worry stone of a crystal or whatever. I want more decorative art. So yeah, it's so again, uh, let's bring it back. So I'm like opening the question to y'all. What is tarot? Uh, right. It's like if you look at tarokino, right? Is that how you pronounce that? Minkiari, etc. Read the number and the order, and that's another thing. It's like the order of it. If we're limiting it to the number of cards, particularly the major arcana, because I feel like the major arcana specifies tarot as we know it and differentiates the playing card deck from the tarot deck in a way. And so the 22 major arcana has now kind of become key to esoteric occult tarot. Yes, you pronounced them all right. Yeah, yes, thank God. Yeah, I know Italian. No, I don't. Then it's all either playing cards, fortune telling, esoteric tarot reading. Well, that's just it. It's like if it's Taroki, or right, if it has the 78 cards, that was the blueprint that the esoteric tarot layered on the occult correspondences that their practice or their mystery tradition would teach. It's reliant on that It's relying on well, this isn't necessarily an Italian one, I'm not sure. Again, when we get into the Marseille and what specifically makes the Marseille and distincts between the different Marseilles. But again, when you think Marseille, people are going to see these images. Is my camera not focusing right? Is it not focusing? Is it on? No, it looks weird. That looked weird. Anyways, it's focusing on me. That's all that matters. So yeah, so they base it off of these, and they're like, oh, the 22 major arcana, 22 Hebrew letters, so on and so forth, until they start layering more and more in Kabbalistic stuff, and then they get into it, and then that's what leads us to getting this, and getting I don't have it in the box, but and getting this, so it's like so again, I think we can kind of leave out esoteric tarot in terms of like talking about tarot, because again, this is what they use. This is the Marseille tarot is what it started off with and what they used and all that. So yeah. Hello, Lady D. Let's see. I love that we both follow Frater. How do you pronounce his name? Frater Acker, I believe, is how you pronounce that name. Also into Golden Dawn, Rosicrucian magic. Again, yeah, I'm interested in it. I'm barely just starting to read into it. I think Frater Acker is a bit more advanced than where I should be with studying that, but typical me, I like to jump into the deep end before I without realizing I need my floaties first. But yeah. So yeah, let's see. A major arcana is from esoteric. Yes, that's true. Yes. That is definitely an esoteric occult tarot distinction, where they were before known as the trumps or the triumphs in the past. So yeah, Atea, I think, I'm not sure how he talked about them, because Atea is key to like separating, it's like Atea and Gebelon, I think, and Levi, I believe, were the ones that started putting that esoteric and occult twist on the tarot. But Atea was the one that did it for divinatory, started making it for divinatory reasons. But yeah. Let's see. Tarot de Marseille was. Yeah, Italian deck is part of Marseille. Yeah, it's because there are distinctions, but I think for the sake of simplicity, we'll consider them the wood block, or no. The we'll consider them the European ones, but essentially, yeah, there are a distinction between the Italian and the French tarots. What they are, I have yet to see, because you have your Viscontis, but again, it's like, there's some missing links to that. Don't say that. Don't say what. I already said it. But again, we're getting into the older, the history validates what exactly it is, but it's like the history isn't that concise and that consistent, because we've had like the Terre de Marseille is a misnomer anyways. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, the Noblet, I believe, is like the oldest one that looks like this, that gave us this idea of the wood block, I believe, after Visconti. I don't know. But Marseille are ugly. But again, here, what is the Marseille? What is it that between the Italian and the Marseille that makes them ugly? I mean, they're it's just different, organizations of the suit icons. It's like, how does it make it? What is the difference to the people that are, reliant or used to this being the groundwork or their blueprint to work off of, because again, it's like, yeah. Again, this is very spur of the moment type of discussion and what it is. So yeah. No, the word is law. Cancel Aaron. I'm just kidding. No. Uh, so yeah, it's yeah, yeah. It's yeah. Not sure where to go with what exactly tarot is, because again, there are times where I see some of the decks being made uh, today, and I'm like, honestly, at this point, you could just have a blank card with the word, or the number even. No, yeah, just a blank card with the number on it, and call it a day. Have the unnumbered, and then no, you have the zero. Well, again, and that's another thing. Zero or unnumbered, what does it make it? A true tarot, you know of the Fool, whether that's unnumbered or zero. If you have it unnumbered, and that plays with its counterpart of Death being untitled, where Death has a number but it is untitled, and the Fool is titled yet unnumbered. It's like there's that there's that duality there. Uh, so so yeah. uh hmm. Where was I going with this? Where was I going with this? Oh, right, right, right. Making a blank deck with just the numbers on it, and then you have, 0, 1, 2, 3, and you have the blank one, and then you have, so on and so forth. Yeah, whatever. And that's essentially, now you're just doing numerology, not necessarily doing tarot. Which again, I think tarot does bring in numerology, but it also brings in the symbols itself as the allegories for each of the meanings of the archetypes, to get into that of what we're reading into. So yeah, so what is tarot? And I think we're kind of asking the wrong questions, because it's like you're kind of asking what dictates a deck to earn the title of tarot, because there are decks that have like 79 cards, and there's some that are going for the Minchiati form, and that's like, people will be like, that's not real tarot, but is it really? I mean, who's to say the Visconti wasn't a Minchiati and we just didn't know? What if it is like missing a shit ton of cards, that we're not really aware of? If it is missing the tower and the double, it's like, because again, I think when it gets to the actual cards, yeah, but I think we have to step away from card counting and card specifics itself in the deck itself, and look at tarot as more the idea of tarot and what it is, and uh, outside of the deck itself, outside of the physical product itself, I guess. Because again, the images can be actually pretty fluid and rather flexible in its representation, as we've seen with like the variations from, yeah, we have our Marseille and our Rider-Waite-Smith and our Thoth looking very similar, but then we get into decks like I don't want to say the Marielle. The Marielle kind of does rely on that as well. I would say decks like the Shimmering Veil Tarot, or the what's a very like out there. Oh, right. There's a new deck that just came out like yesterday, and it sold out like yesterday. No, a few days ago, and that is the Abstract Tarot. And then we have like decks using like the Tarot of Delphi, where those images aren't even intended for being used in tarot, but the archetypes are there, and the tarot figures and meanings are there. you know so again, the deck itself, going by deck itself, I think kind of leaves us in a loop, and maybe is going in the wrong direction to answer like what is tarot. I think we should be asking, what is the idea of tarot? Hello, Katie Flowers. So yeah, so here's another one. What percentage do you by intuition, and what percentage by card definition would you say? It gets weird, because when you go by card definition and card meaning, you kind of get stuck in this like limited, like, this is the meaning. You get clean cut separate meanings, when really the point of the reading is like kind of like where Lenormand plays into this, where Lenormand, you have to read each card as a word in a sentence. Uh you know uh um yeah, this is it. Yeah, question asked by tarot. What is the idea of tarot? Let's start with that. But uh who was it? I just skipped it. Yeah, but say Sacred Sequence Tarot is asking more like, what is the percentage between intuition and card meaning? And it's like, well, this is again kind of going into the history of like, where did card readings start? What were the first tarot readings like? And what were the meanings and what was it like? Not necessarily how people read Marseille today, but rather what was tarot reading like in that first time? I believe was it, again, I can't remember if it's Levy or Gabelon that saw some of his friends laying out the cards, and they were doing readings. I believe, I don't think they were playing a game. I think they were actually doing fortune telling, and he like saw them, and they were like, oh, wait a minute, I'm like into this occult shit with like, and I'm busy appropriating Kabbalistic ideas here. Oh wait, 22 Hebrew letters, 22 major arcana, and it kind of goes off from there. And again, it kind of evolves and processes, the imagery of the tarot and the meanings of the cards in a way, I think. But I don't think he was like the main voice in like dictating what the meanings of the cards were. But anyways, we're kind of getting lost here. Again, though, to reiterate what Pepper Jackie was saying, like, about intuition, we'd have to define what intuition is. And I think we still don't have a solid, clear definition of what intuition is with tarot as of yet. At least for me, I know. I think I get like a variety of ideas of what it is. And I'm like, okay, I got to look at what it is, where it came from, how it works, what it does, how do we use it. I have a few ideas, but I still don't know. And again, I think this is for another live stream before we can tackle like, what is card meaning and intuition, so yeah. Yeah, my mind go immediately to the woodblock imagery, and and I think again the woodblock imagery I think is Terre de Marseille. I would say Minchiati is Minchiati and Marseille is Marseille, and Marseille is like a misnomer to just is not the correct term for the entirety of it, because again there is a difference, but honestly if it doesn't have scenic pips, it's a Marseille. If there isn't people doing things in the ace, no, in the twos, well, yeah, in the ace through tens of the minor arcana, or of the suit cards, then it's then it's gonna fall into the branch of Marseille families. Oh, missing a bunch here. Right? Am I missing some? Okay, here we go. So yeah, and also I should say, because I kind of don't want to talk by myself, I am open to having some people on, and putting in their 2 cents as to what they think the idea of tarot is. Again, here, the idea of tarot. Oh, and also abstract tarot. So there's that. I'm talking about the abstract futures tarot that just was released yesterday, but it's not. Was it on the collect? No, it was just made recent. I don't know. Anyways. So yeah, let's see. I personally use Tarocchi for Italian historical decks that go hand in hand with various kinds of playing cards in various regions and states in the peninsula. See, what is this? It's like it gets blurred. It gets blurred. Hello, Venabel, when we stand. So yeah. Let's see. So I don't go ape shit when they call tarot some of those awful contemporary new take from someone who don't even know art, let alone tarot. It's all based on my own idea to keep me healthy. And that's another thing. It's when we think of like, what is art and what is tarot? And that's another facet and another position or perspective to take on the tarot itself. I think Benabal Wen also did a blog post on what is how art is interpreted into the perspective of tarot, right? Is that the right phrasing? Point is it high or low art, or like the arts and crafts type of art, or is it because again it's like art is supposed to be art for art's sake. It's not supposed to be intended to be used for something. It's not there's a difference between art and graphic design, and I think tarot might be falling a little more into graphic design. But again, it's like, again, when we really say like what is art, that gets even more into vaguity. So again, that's a whole nother live stream. What is art? What is intuition? We're kind of getting into a whole bunch of other stuff that we kind of need to backtrack. So yeah, hello sunshiny day. Who else is here? Do another book. No. Not yet. Let's see. Yep. We need to, yeah, strictly speaking, we need to define each. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, let's not go into that. Let's not get into intuition or what is art, So yeah. Okay, yeah. They use the term taroki and tarot differently. Okay, yeah. Fair enough, because I think that is, well, again, it's like tarot is the French word of it. So again, it's like in the French would say, where in Italy they say taroki, and France would say tarot, right? Right. So and again, we'd kind of be in the same thing here. They'd be like, yeah, because the French have their own like wood block, Marseille the Noble, right? Isn't that from? Again, I need to get my European geography and cultural, distinctions clear in my mind before I go off and talk about that. But yeah, let's see. Oh my gosh, and of course my dog wants to go out right when we're getting into it. Yeah, you want to go outside? Yeah. Whoa, tripping over stuff. Thought I had you out of my way, but I guess not. Oh my gosh, how embarrassing. Is that popcorn I smell? My God. Okay, it's an enigma. It really is. It gets into like the line is so, the definition is so blurred, and it's so indistinguishable. So I guess one of the ways that we could clarify as to what tarot is how it's used. I use tarot as an umbrella term. There are many branches. Yeah, it's like, because then you get like the taroki, which is like more the gameplay and the playing with the cards of that. And then you have the divinatory side, and that is the more esoteric take on it, and the more like musing take, and mentally digesting the imagery take, rather than like pulling out the cards and being like, haha, look, it's an old man. And it's like, you know what I mean? Or look at this lady, she's with a lion. It's strength. Is that the right take? I don't know. It's very, I think that's where we're not going too deep when it comes to the gameplay. You're not even doing that with the gameplay. You're trying to win a game. You're trying to win something. It's all about the goal with it, and I think that's the distinction there. The idea of tarot as to what is its function, what is its use. So its function as a deck for gameplay, and its function as a tool for mental reflection, or image digestion, I guess we could say. I think to keep it simple, image digestion as like the surface level, because when you get into that, it can become like, maybe it's trying to say something about the future, or maybe it's trying to say something allegorically about the political environment that we're in at the moment, in 1400s Italy. Because, or with the Thoth, the 1930s to the 40s, 50s. It took like 8 years, right? Something along those lines. During like World War II, what was the political imagery? Oh my God. What was the political societal environment like? And are all those images representative of that, intentionally or unintentionally? Come on. Why'd you go out there, huh? For what? Just to get me to get up? Oh, okay. Okay. let's see. So yeah. Oh, yep. How is tarot played from country to country? Yeah, it varies, and I'm pretty sure like the French would be like, the Italians don't know what they're doing, and the Italians would be like, what do they know? They didn't even make the shit. Hello, Fairy Wren Whispers. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Essence of archetypal guidance that could help you consider potential paths. I mean, that is one take, but is tarot limited to that? And that defines and limits tarot as it is. Like again, it's can be used for other things because it's also used in ritual work and in spell work and again and in self-reflection as to current events, not necessarily for its intention purely to predict the future and what's going to happen next or what's coming to me. It's more like, where am I? Who am I? Why am I acting this way? Where did I come from? So it goes into that as well. It's sort of like that, it's the questioning the life choices that you made that brought you into the situation that you're in right now. That's another take on it. And so to say like that's the only way to use tarot is limiting, and when you say like you can't do tarot that way, then it's then it limits what you can do with tarot. Oh, that's true. Yeah, the northern and southern Italy is also different. Yeah, up to the 1800s, we were Spain, basically, to hugely simplify. Yeah, like I said, I'm not up to date with Europe because who cares about that country? It's not the US. Why should I care about it? Anyways. So yeah, and I think again we have to broaden our uses in the modern times, and it might be. I think this though also makes things a little bit unclear because I'm also thinking of like, okay, as an artist that is like saying to themselves, oh, I want to make a deck. What is tarot? What exactly is it? And then they go into it and they're like, oh, well, it's all this, and this, and all that and this. It's actually for this. No, it's for gameplay. No, it's specifically for this. And I guess in the end, they just simplify and break down and just end up reiterating this, which no tea, no shade, no pink lemonade, the Pavlov tarot, for example, is straight up just Rider-Waite-Smith, just in Pavlov's interpretation. But it's amazing. I love it. And it puts in a breath of fresh air into the Rider-Waite-Smith. But then there are tarot takes by artists that just don't line up, and it's like, are you trying to fit into Rider-Waite-Smith? And if so, why are you varying off with this card? And it's always that one card out of the 78, or like the 3 or 4 cards out of the 78 that like stand out, that look like it's a part of a different deck, that kind of just throws things off. But anyways, we're getting off topic. I need to look at what my actual title is. So yeah, where next? Where to next? Because I don't want to beat a dead horse, but again, I need input as to like whether something is tarot or not. Because I think it's very difficult for people to, or it's rather I don't know where I was going with it. Something about like, limiting what tarot is and what it isn't. Like, oh, it has to be this or it has to be that. And it's like, not necessarily, So yeah, what is the idea of tarot? No, rather more like, okay, let's I feel like I've digested or discussed enough about what is tarot. Let's move on to, well, no, because then we're going to get into like intuition and the meanings. And like I said, we have to discuss what intuition is. Should I change the title and be like, what is intuition? Because at this point, we're pretty much already going to get into there. But no, more like, or like, what is the purpose of tarot? Uh, let's go into there. What is its purpose? Let's go there. I think that's a more fresh approach. Yeah. What is intuition? Should I do intuition? What is it? What should I do? What should we discuss next? Intuition or tarot's purpose? Intuition or tarot's purpose? Because if I want to get into intuition, I kind of have to pull out some books. I gotta look into some books, look into some definitions, look into like what's going on here. You see, which is why I cringe anytime I hear people saying European as if they're talking about Northern Americans. We're not different states, we're different countries. Yeah, when I say European, I'm like I believe when I say European, I'm like saying like the UK, France, Spain, Italy, Germany, and those are all different countries with different, uh, cultures and lifestyles and laws, I believe. Again, it's way more complicated than what I think, but when I say European, I'm saying like that, you know. And even then that kind of gets blurred when you get more closer into Russia. So yeah. Oh, that's true. Definitions have their exceptions in practice because the world is messy and beautiful. And yeah, and it's like eventually those words that have those limited definitions will then eventually start being, uh, you know, used and transferred into like slang terms and all that, and it'll evolve and change over time. Yeah. Uh, so yeah, if it's based on Rider Waite, wait, for me, if it's based on Rider Waite but gets too far from Rider Waite, that I get confused. You see, that's interesting because it's like, yeah, that's another thing. It's like the Rider Waite Smith kind of just like revamped everything. But yeah. Oh yeah, and most of those countries are made up between World War One and World War Two. Yeah, like during those two wars, like countries were made and destroyed, and then like reformed and then like gone away. Like just out, like for example, World War Two, you have East and West Germany that were divided, and then they tore down that wall. Again, simplified history. Hmm. Let's see. Okay, so definitely the original intent of tarot was game playing. Yeah, yeah. But today that's the minority use. Yeah, at least globally in the majority of I think in like France and Italy, it's still used. Like I think most people will use. It'll be. I think it's a mix of like both reading and gameplay. I don't know. Anyways, I'm not there. I don't know. Aaron, you tell us. Oh, and hello, Lady Knight of Avalon. So yeah. So I'm curious, Zach, what your thoughts are on tarot's purpose and significance today? And that's I think that's where we're getting at. uh it, what? Don't look at me like that. You wanted to get carried, all right? Um so I guess I think that is what it is. Like, what is its purpose and significance today? And I think a lot of people get that mixed up, and will say it's for fortune telling and divination. And but again, when you say the term divination, to me, it's like connecting to the divine. Like that's the definition for it, for me at least. And when you get there, it's like that then can spread into different things of like connecting to spirit and connecting to and using it in ritual work and possibly spell work. I'm pretty sure there's some people that do tarot, that do spell work without any divinities behind it. Again, I'm not well versed into magic, but yeah. Let's see. But I guess we're kind of, and this is where I kind of touched on with like the many uses on it. I was like, okay, yeah, you have it for fortune telling and divination. You also have people kind of stretching it into or reaching it into psychology and psychotherapy. I don't know the terms, but more into like mental health and mental exercises in a way, and for self-reflection in that way, and also using it for spell work and all that. But it's, you know, it's yeah, yeah. It gets muddled. So again, I would like to repeat. This is very spur of the moment because I had like a lot of like energy, and I'm like, I need to expel this, and I need to. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just go live and talk about something. You know, this huge disclaimer. So if I'm like unfocused and then like do another live stream or another video where I'm saying like, this is actually what I think it is, you know, then, and it's more thought out, that's because I went back and I went over and I solidified what it is. So yeah. Yeah. So again, to all of you in the chat, what is the purpose of tarot today? What is its significance today? And I guess that's another thing, you know, significance, what, you know, it's, I guess, yeah. I'm just getting into a whole bunch of other stuff. So yeah. So our local, like, you know, tarot troll of the of the season this year is saying, I don't need to ask the tarot how I'm feeling because I know how I'm feeling. So for me, tarot is for divination, fortune telling. But again, it's like that's one thing. You know. So yeah, obviously, yeah, no, that's if you need that, then that's kind of, if people need to do that with tarot, I'm like, something's off. That's a little bit dangerous and a little unhealthy when you're going to someone to ask them, how should I feel, or how am I feeling? And it's like, no, you should be asking yourself that and internalizing that. And like, the best way to do that, to in like, you know, working with how you're feeling with tarot, is like saying like, you know what, currently I'm having these emotions and these feelings. Let me flip through the card images and see what best represents that through my emotions, and maybe that'll best help me define those emotions and those feelings that I'm having at the moment, uh, due to a certain situation. But you know, again, it's like, so yeah, that's one way to work with tarot. So yeah. Let's see. Today, I'd say it's predominantly for fortune telling, but even more for pop psychology / self help. And yeah. Oh my gosh, pickles. Go on. Okay, you don't have to bark so loud. She'll be back in like 2 minutes. Oh my god. Let's see. I'm all like looking at, yeah, psychoanalysis. It's and when we get into like the mental health part, it's like, okay, how do we work with it professionally and in a responsible way and in a regulated way? Because let's be real, tarot as it is right now, highly unregulated. Because again, we're all like kind of like having these many ideas as to what, you know, tarot works with as well. And it's like, how do you regulate what intuition is? And I don't think a psychologist is going to be relying on intuition to work with one of their clients, patients, psychologists, like psychiatrists, therapists, you know. So yeah, again, and we've and I think we've touched on this, but again, I will say it here and now: the tarot is not a replacement for a therapist or therapy by itself. It can help. You can work with in tangent with it, but as a replacement and as a sole, you know, alternative, I don't recommend. Yeah, that's a good one. Why am I feeling that way? What is causing me to, you know, what causes me to react that way? Yeah. What is this? Magic or witchcraft? Don't get me into that. I don't know. I'm unknowledgeable in that topic. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Chat is really weird here. Hello, Gail. Hello, E. Who else is here? I don't know if anyone else showed up here. Okay, yeah. Okay. Um, I think people are looking for answers, and tarot seems more acceptable than ever. I read for my seekers with spiritual slant, assisting them with how to survive in the ego of understanding sphere. What? Oh wait, the ego by understand. Wait, how to survive in the ego by understanding sphere. Okay, okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Yeah, for sure. Though I think it's that's another thing, a tool for finding answers. That's another purpose for tarot, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. I think Annika and uh, people more well versed and experienced in the psychological, psychiatric, mental therapeutic type of areas of life will know better the difference of it, because I know Jung was a student of Freud or a contemporary Freud or a colleague of Freud. I don't know. Kind of colleague, contemporary. I don't know, but I was reading his what is it, the collected works of Jung, um, and he was talking about like how how he had this kind of weird falling out with Freud. But yeah, I can't get into it because I can't remember specifically what happened. So yeah. Uh, let's see. I like tarot because it gives me a creative and psychological archetype framework of approaching a topic. I don't need tarot to process things, but it gives me an alternative way of viewing something. And that's another thing. Yeah, it visualizes. It helps visualize what is difficult to put into words, even sometimes. Uh, so yeah. Let's see, what is this? Love conscious use of tarot, big part of my practice. Where is this coming from? Did I say that I mentioned something? How am I forgetting that? Let's see. Yeah, that's why I don't do readings for hell. Yeah, it's like, honey, you got a doctor. Who are we talking shit about? No one yet. That's for another live. That's for another live reading. Live reading. That's for another live stream. Um, Yeah, it's a few weeks ago. I didn't even know that fortune telling is not legal in certain U.S. states. Yeah, I think in New York, like there's a certain yeah, there's like laws in there that prohibit fortune telling or something, or tarot reading. So yeah. Mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Who the hell is Moonchild? That's what I want to know. I don't know. I have no idea. They're an interesting troll, that's for sure. Uh, Let's see. Maybe the use of tarot in a broad sense is to achieve understanding, whether that's of the self, situation, and future. Okay, a tool for achieving understanding. Okay, okay. Frenemies. There we go. Freud and Jung were frenemies. I missed that podcast. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, there we go. Stephen Palmer. Jung was a student of his. They had a falling out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. From friends to enemies. The tension. um, Yep, this is Moonchild that asterisk is talking about. Uh, let's see. Let's see. What is this? Working with the symbols directly is really powerful, and tarot does that. Was called to Young in sand play. Who's that? In grad school for the same reason. Use all the above in personal process with clients. Okay, okay. Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, like to cover your ass in general, you should just say for entertainment purposes only. Because again, like I said, highly unregulated. There's like no standard of what's a good reader and what's what's not that good of a reader, and what makes you what how do you know you're getting a good reading, you know? Um He might have. No, he was big into astrology and into alchemy. You know, it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to show that he was interested or show or like was curious, maybe. But I don't think he did. I think he might have done. I have to look into it. I want to say I read somewhere or heard something. So yeah. Uh, so yeah. Hopefully, with this, does California have applicable laws currently? Maybe they will if Republicans win. Not to get political. I mean, it seems that Republicans aren't. That's not really a big news media thing, but they might if it gets enough attention. Maybe. I'm not sure. Okay, so it varies from county. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I'm putting that into the word. I'm putting that out into the world. You know, the recall will not happen. No, vote no. If you're in California, vote no on the recall. All right, thank you. Next. Yeah, it is. And there it is. It's like, is it entertaining? Yeah, and you can have fun with it and have, you know, and and make it entertaining in a way, and not necessarily have to take it so seriously and have to take it that in depth, and that adds another layer of depth to it or shallowness to it to the tarot itself. Making it strictly for entertainment purposes, maybe. So yeah. Let's see. I reckon he was aware of them in the archetypal value. Yeah. Yeah, I want to say he mentioned. I swear I could have read something. Uh, what is this? Fassbender? What? Wait, did Michael Fassbender play as young in a role or something? Right? Am I missing something? Now we're getting into Michael Fassbender, thirsting over Michael Fassbender. Um, right? I mean, I'm not sure. I have to recheck. Uh, Michael. Now we're way off of. Oh, there's a Freud series. Where is that? Like on? Is that like on a streaming service or is that like a series? I don't know. I don't know if I want to watch that. Because I swear sometimes movies and TV shows will like you can tell that there's a bias on some of them, and like Freud can get pretty weird. uh, what? This is okay. Michael Fassbender, Keira Knightley, who played Freud. Yes, Young did know about the I Ching. I was really into it via the friendship with Richard Wilhelm. Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's another thing with like fortune telling divination tools is the I Ching and how it's much older than tarot. But anyways, hold on. Let me let the dog back in. God damn it! Come on. Hulu or Netflix will DM you. All right, Sacred Sequence. I cannot stand Keira Knightley or whatever her name is. I never watched that movie. Now I need to remember. I know Keira Knightley is an actress, but I cannot put a face to her right now. I cannot think of a role she's in. Now I'm Googling her. Keira. Right? Keira Knightley. Yeah, her. Yeah, her. Yeah, Pride and Prejudice. Yeah, the cinematic masterpiece that is Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay, wait a minute. Wait. Okay, not to distract, but again, my brain always gets like this. So when we're talking about the geographical, global, place on Earth, the Caribbean, I say Caribbean. But when we're talking about the movie, I say Caribbean. I say Caribbean, not Caribbean. Who else does this? Is this a thing? Because really think about it. I was like, where's she coming? And she was in Anna Karenina. And what else? Oh, The Imitation Game. Okay. I love doing this. You hear about an actress and then you scroll through their movies and you're like, oh, she was in that. Oh yeah, she was in that. And I'm like, oh, I love that movie. I love doing that. Let's see, what is this? Let's see what else. What else? Can't think of anything else. Never mind. Never mind. Not as fun as I thought. Uh yeah. Oh yeah. The Duchess. She loves her period pieces, I guess. Wait, she was in Star Wars? It's because she looks like Natalie Portman, right? Who's Sabe? Sabe? Who the hell is Sabe? That's what I want to know. I don't know. Anyways, we're getting distracted here. Away from Tara. Oh yeah, looking for someone at the end of the world, right? Something like that. Looking for a friend at the end or something like that. I just had it right here. Where'd it go? Yeah, Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. It's Steve Carell and Keira Knightley. Yeah, Caribe. Caribbean. No, no, there's gonna be like Libra and Libra with me again. But it's only, again, the movie is Caribbean. But if I'm gonna say, oh yeah, we went on vacation in the Caribbean, you know. Um, what? No, no, no. Keira Knightley is in Star Wars. I know Daisy Ridley is in the newest three movies. Yeah, that's Daisy Ridley. Is that her name? Right? Yeah, I know the difference between her. Yeah, paid Libra. English is a made up language. Yeah, Caribbean. So yeah, to bring it back. To bring it back. Yeah, she was. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. I am looking. Do I have to, girl? Please work. It's probably way too long. Nope. That's way too long. Can I delete you? Can I delete you? Nope. I can't delete it. Oh no. Sorry about that. Well, copy all that text and then copy the link. No, she was in there. No, that's not how you link it. But yeah, she was in it. She was in it. She was in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, as Sabe. Sorry for that stupid, weird link. This is someone who does not know much on sharing a link. So yeah, I'd have to go to on my YouTube channel. Moderators, clean that up. Remove that. Don't remove me, but remove that. No, you can't remove me because I'm the channel owner. Yeah, I accidentally wrote pay and then ed instead of paid PAID, and then I'm like, you know what? Let's just go with it for my paid readings only live streams. So yeah. All right. Good night, sunshiny day. The Phantom Menace is not a movie. It's not that bad. Let's be real. Y'all love those fucking lightsaber scenes. All right. Sickening. I can hear the music already. Ah, oh, damn it. Okay. Gotta get my YouTube app open. go to my live stream. Let me make sure my audio is down so it's not playing that. Yeah, let's come on, go down. No, okay, don't listen to me then. Close, go to my channel. My God, the work I have to do to get to do this. Look at that. I'm already bored. I don't want to do it now. Don't tempt me because I will. I will. Pause. Don't play. I need to do this. Remove. There we go. Nope. Wait, does that work? Yeah, that works. That's weird. Okay, but no. Remove. And then no, stop clicking on the link. Let me go right here. Maybe here. No, stop it. Whatever. You can go. Well, it'll lead you to the movie of The Phantom Menace, and then you guys can see. Keira Knightley's in it. Hello, Tiny Trinkets and Tarot. So yeah. Not sure. Yeah. Not sure what I hate more, Star Wars or the Mary L. Star Wars, because let's be real, they did not handle that last trilogy that well either. Mary L is well thought out throughout, except for the production, but whatever. Let's see. No. I don't want to talk to. I want to be talked to. I want to lecture. You'll get that later. Let's see. I prefer K. I don't like the H in my name, by the way. I prefer ZACK. So yeah. Yeah, intuition. Oh yeah, I saw. Yeah. I'm tempted to ask Zach to crack open his books and lecture us on intuition. I would much rather go into that because I think that's a major key and a major role into like I said, mental image digestion or image I wouldn't be mad at a Q. No, because then it's no, because then it's getting a little bit into QAnon, and I don't want to go into that. I don't want any association to that. So yeah. Yes, Zach, ZACK. Riff on intuition. So again, I have very little to know on intuition. I need to find some things first. I need to remember where to look for intuition. Let's look this up. Let's Google this. How about intuition? There's a movie called Intuition. But let's see. Okay, so Google dictionary. This is my peak research on this, so get ready, y'all. The ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. So okay, so Exhibit A, good example that I have right now that just came to my mind, just based on that definition simply. Yeah, what is the difference between intuition and making shit up? Well, let me get into it. So we'll set the scene. No, it's math class in my senior year of high school, and not math, statistics specifically, and because I'm smarter than that. But so yeah, yes, that. So there's a simple equation on the board, and she's like, okay, what is this? I don't even work out the answer. All I know is that I believe it's either 8 or 24. I can't remember now what it was, but I just said it's this number. And she's like, did you look up the answer? And I'm like, no, it just looks like it's gonna be that, And it just, I don't know, somehow either my brain was working super hard on those math equations for so much during that time that I just automatically just processed it, or something. Somehow I got to that number and it said, you know what, it's this number. This number seemed right to fit there, and that was the correct number. And that was the only time I ever did that. I was like, I don't know. It was it just looked like it was right, and it just seemed like that was the correct number answer. I couldn't explain why, it just felt right. And I think that's where my intuition just leapt out of me. The intuition was just activated, and it came out of me, So yeah. them some fighting words. But I mean, it's true. A lot of people will use intuition as a kind of guard of defending their like, you know what, I'm just gonna like, you know what, I'm gonna use my bias and you know I'm gonna make it up because this sounds right to me, which that gets a little bit complicated there. Yeah, no, not maths, statistics, and no, it's just no. We're not going to do that. No, we're not going to get into that. So yeah, but the point is that math, the for something so clear cut and defined, and not really something that can be pretty interpretive in any way, shape, or form, for intuition to kick in for that, it was very interesting. Uh, so yeah, like that. Yeah. The ability to understand something instinctively without the need for conscious reasoning. And it's like, yeah, intuition, wormhole perception. That's a good one. That's a good one because, like I said, it's like my brain just quickly like worked through the equation somehow so quickly in my brain. Maybe, I don't know. Honestly, the best way to say is that it's guessing, but it's not guessing. No, yeah. Um, so yeah. Yeah, that's another question right there. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's like it's a subset. It's like a branch of math. Yeah. But I'm saying specifically statistics. Because when I think of math, I think of the base I like to think of it as a general uh addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And then we get into algebra, trigonometry, geometry, and statistics as under that umbrella term of math, where those four primary elements of math, you know, play out into there, you know, throughout the rest of them. But anyways, no, it is not the absence of reasoning, though. That's another thing. It's difficult to reason. But you know, yeah. To some point, it can be like that. I feel. Uh, let's see, what is this? Okay. About how you would conceptualize that math class example as intuition versus psychic hit, or would you draw the distinction between those two terms? That's what I also want to get into: intuition versus psychic hit, whatever. Because it's like there is also a difference between there, and you know, I have a bias to what a psychic is or what a psychic hit is. Uh, so yeah, so I'm not sure if that was a psychic. No, I feel like that was intuition. I feel maybe it was, maybe, yeah, that's another take on that. So yeah, let's see, you took statistics in high school, I took statistics in college. Now yeah, it's I was very good at math, I'll say that. And I love statistics, I love that class. So yeah. uh, and then there's intuition versus instinct. Instinct is more, I believe, natural and animalistic, I guess. So I guess um like kind of like a, what's a good way of it? So I guess instinct is you're hungry, you're gonna go eat something. That's not necessarily intuition. You're not intuiting that, oh, I need to eat food to solve this hunger pain. You know, no, that's not what's going on there. Instinct is your stomach's growling, you're gonna go eat something and you're gonna eat something good, you know. Ah, this is another thing. Pattern recognition. Yeah, the alternative is to work through each step along the way. There we go, like that. Yeah, intuition versus impulse. That's another thing. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, to me, yeah, intuition is not equal to instinct. Uh, oh yes, for sure. To my spirit saying, yeah, we all have intuition. Absolutely. I think we all do. Yeah. Yeah. This is where I'm getting at here, where it's like, okay, is it intuition or is it psychic? You know, it's like with psychics, there's so many like ideas that come into mind. It's sort of like the stereotype of the word fortune teller. You know, when I hear psychic, honestly, there's it's if tarot is difficult to regulate, psychics are a whole nother like way more difficult thing to regulate. And even it's how you know, how do you validate which is a good psychic and which is a you know, a not so good psychic, a scammer, you know? How do you know? Yeah, and this is another thing. This is another term. What is a psychic? So I am talking off of like a generalization of something else. So we would also have to go into that. Let's see. Yeah, I guess psychic has a lot of baggage with it. Yeah, it does. So yeah. Um, if not, then there is knowledge available to us that evades conscious reasoning. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're getting into things here. Let's see. I kind of agree with Annika just said about what Annika said about intuition. I wonder if intuition is a knowing source from a collective consciousness. So you know by way of that collective knowledge we have. Kind of. It's like, you know, it's sort of like sunlight is warm, you know, and the sun is gonna warm things up. And you know that if you like kind of want to dry something out, you know, heat makes things dry out, and so if your shirt is wet, you can leave it out in the sun and it'll dry. Sort of like that, kind of. But again, with intuition, you're gonna skip that process and you're just gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna do this. But then also, there's some people that I think. So, another high school story. So this one kid had a hickey on his neck, and he wanted to cover it before he went to school or whatever, or to hide it from his parents. So I'm not sure how much of this was true or rumors, but I'm pretty sure one part was true, and that was he used bleach and sandpaper, I believe, to get it out, to try and get it out. Not how you do it. You know, that's not, you know, the best way to deal with that is probably a makeup concealer, but again, but I can see where this kid's reasoning for trying to, you know, remove this hickey came from. Bleach, you use it to remove stains out of white clothes, you know, and so you remove that stain through bleach, yeah, through bleaching, but that's not how a bruise works. He didn't understand that part. But also sandpaper can also do the same with like, you know, furniture and also concrete and all that, you know, so I guess you can rub it out and erase it kind of in a way. But again, so it's like, what is that intuition? Is that really working well? Is that, you know, or is he just not really? So again, so there you go. Like his intuition was kind of on the right track, but not with the right biological know-how of how a bruise works, which is what a hickey is, you know. Or am I wrong on that? Is a hickey not a bruise? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. Well, here's the well, there's also a thing there with like what imagination is, you know, with making shit up. Yeah, it is imagination, and that is just and that kind of like lessens the validity of imagination and our power for our imagination. I mean, if it weren't for imagination, we wouldn't have the ability to fly. Like, let's just say that, you know, intuition, absence of conscious reasoning, but reasoning is present in some way, nevertheless. Yeah, it's yeah. Again, I have to see. I want to get some of the books and crack open other definitions that are on there. So let me wait. Should I show you guys my body standing up, getting these books? Where are they? I don't know where they are. Hold on. There's one here. I think I know a few. Let me see here. I'm gonna get this, and I'm not sure. Let me see here. Let me see if she talks about it, because I believe intuition was really a term that came up from Jung, you know, if I'm not mistaken. And Jung is heavily, you know, emphasized on that part, right? I don't know. You want to go outside again? Again? My God. Hold on. Ah. So let's see. So intuition, rapid cognitive reasoning that's so fast it's almost instantaneous, and logic equals intentional step-by-step cognitive process. I guess. Let me see here. So this is Terra and the archetypal journey, the Jungian path from darkness to light, by Sally Nichols, with a foreword by Mary K. Greer. Okay, this is a reprint. So in the back, there are terms that Mary K. Greer offers for like clear definitions of what certain terminology is, or certain Jungian terminology. So let's see. Intuition. Okay, so Jung. Okay, here's what Jung describes as intuition here: looking within, perception or comprehension without the use of rational process, one of the four Jungian functions. So let's write that out. Can we write that out? Someone write that out. No, I'll write it out. I don't know if I have time. Let's test how fast my writing skills are. Let's see. I didn't even spell intuition right. My God. Intuition. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. Perception. Where are we? My God, I can't find it. Yeah. Perception or comprehension without the use of rational process. One of the four Jungian functions. There we go. So we kind of come around to that just based off of that. So yeah, okay. So it's like rapid fire, you know, like fast as lightning, you know, faster than light, you know, faster than light type of mental processes that, you know, help us come to a conclusion of to a problem or a situation that we're in a way. So if we're thinking about it in use of tarot, so we would lay out the cards, and the again, to use that equation method, you know, you know, you know, a 3-card spread would be this card times this card, or plus this card minus this card, whatever, equals this, and your intuition just solves that through looking at the symbols through that, you know, through what you understand of what these images that you're reading into is. So, but then we're getting into how does intuition process these images? How do we know what these images are telling us, you know? So yeah, let me see here. Oh, bye, Lady Knight of Avalon. Let's see. Oh, yes, yes, yes. All right, all right. Good night, I'm assuming then. uh, so yeah, Jung's intuition, you know, looking within, perception or comprehension without the use of rational process, one of the four Jungian functions. So yeah, I should save that as a as like one of the things here, because you can have banners on here. So I'm like, maybe I should have that as a banner. Anyways, so yeah, let me go back up here. Let's see. I'm kind of, yeah. Well, again, we also have to look at what Jung means by rational process. You know, so this is again. Oh, right, Benabal kind of already said it. Yeah. Let me just share it here, right here, so you guys can see it. Tarot and the Archetypal Journey by Sally Nichols. It's a great book. It's only focused on the major arcana, which I know people might be like, but honestly, it's great. Some of the best stuff is really written on like majors only books. So yeah, so however Young did say perception and comprehension in that definition, so implies info processing. Yeah, that's where I'm like he's kind of saying the same thing, but he probably again he has his own definitions, and he has his own terminology there. Yeah, and synchronicities too. And synchronicities are another thing that plays into how tarot works as well, I think. Where it's like because you're randomly shuffling the cards, and then you pull out any of the cards and they match up with a current situation that you're in, and that's another term that we'd have to like get into. Let's see, which moves back to the previous question. Did we make it up? If so, why that and not something else? Was it an external influence? What? Why that? What? uh, uh, Synchronicity or what? What exactly are you talking about? What is it? Did we make it up? What is it? Clarify your it. Let's see. So yeah, I need right. Let me see here if she also has some stuff. Let's see. Tomaya's spirit says she uses espirituismo for tarot. Tarot is more a vocabulary to the other side. Long story. It's how I was taught. The open and closed circle, similar to using spirit boards. And I mean, like when you get into like through what little I've studied, it seems that like when you get into the mental sphere and you get into the internal sphere, that's when things start to get a little more blurred, and that's where again you can get into this other side. You get into the internal and to the non-tangible, non-physical world. And so like I think the mental layer is the first, and then you go beyond that and you can grow that or develop it or change it and grow it into more, and then reaching more and connecting to the divine and to the spiritual side. The shit we made up. Oh, let's see. If we made things up, the question about why that particular made up thing would be projection. Yeah, again, we're getting way into other yeah. You're getting way into other topics here. I'm like, wait a minute, I wasn't prepared for this, but I did want to get exhausted, so tire me out here. Randomization and synchronicities, yes, and the randomization can lead us back to statistics. It's all connecting. It's all connecting, which is why I always say shuffle your cards right. Overhand shuffling does not properly shuffle your cards within 7 mixes. You gotta or in a number of mixes. Riffle shuffling does it better, even though it does wear out your cards. Whatever, it gives you a better randomization. That's what prevents repeat cards. And when you do get repeat cards with good randomization, and it makes it even more into just gonna put that out there. Which also I do know some people can't riffle shuffle. That's another thing. So I should, their hands, sometimes your hands can't do that. So again, that's another thing, so. See, look at that. You see, free association. And that's where another thing, like where occult and esoteric stuff kind of goes in with associations and correspondences, where, yeah, is making stuff up in a tarot reading even so bad. I believe it was, what's his name? Paul Hughes Barlow? Is that his name? I can't remember. He's on here. He talks a lot about the Thoth Tarot, and he talks about how that's what he started doing with tarot readings, and like just out in public, he like got a deck, didn't study it, didn't do it. He just made stuff up on the fly with his deck, and to random strangers in the street, and like they were still like lining up and matching up. But again, that's where it goes into like, is he cold reading, or is he or is it something else, or is he actually like tapping into something? So yeah, you see, for me, I don't the bending isn't so bad. Creasing, That's a little bit of a that worries me. But if you have good cardstock, not thick, good cardstock, it should increase. You know, usually bending and warping is due to like temperature and moisture in the air. I believe. I could be wrong, but yeah, and also how you store your decks. So yeah. So yeah, let me go back to this though. Let me see if she has any terms or glossary of any sort for this, because this is another one where Irene Gadd, Tarot and Individuation, a Jungian study of correspondences with Kabbalah, alchemy, and the chakras. Which I haven't really gone through this book too much, so I'm not even sure if she does, but let me see. Let me see if she mentions intuition. Index here. Oh, she does talk about imagination. We might have to go into that, but let's see. 54, let's see. 51. Oh, this is in the Emperor. Interesting. Right? Now I gotta read all this. Ugh, so much reading. Right? Am I looking at the right one? No, I'm looking at individuation, not intuition. Sorry. Intuition. There we go. 28. Wrong one. Now we're wasting time. But honestly, it's a live stream. Is there a rush? Sorry if it bores you guys, but again, what page was it? 28. 30, 28. Here we go. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. She says intuitive here, but Sorry if I'm all quiet and not really saying anything. This must be riveting content for y'all. Let's see here. Okay, so yeah, here she's saying, okay, so the magician denotes consciousness, breath of life, intuition, attention, and the father principle. He signifies the absolute container of all possibilities, the archetypes. He also connotes humanity capable of influencing the natural order. So here she's like talking about how the magician is intuition, which I think we said the wormhole type of, mental processes, wormhole processing or something like that. And that's kind of what he is. He's that wormhole that connects one, point A to point B, from the question to the answer, and, connects it immediately, because he is Mercury, is rather quick, so I think that's where it goes with intuition. So yeah. All right, what is this? I think Pepper Jackie recommended a book, like the Tao, right? Yeah, the Tao of Psychology, Synchronicity, and the Self this I might be interested in. By John Shinoda Bolin? I don't know. So yeah. Let's see. And here's another thing. Okay, so here's what I'm like. I gotta define this too. I think the creative, imaginative processes and free associations are useful exercises, especially for self-reflection, reading for oneself. There's something, I'm connecting something here, but I'm not sure if this is right. Let's see. Love when there is a serpent on the tree of life. It's like there's a mix to that. I'm not sure if that's genuine or like traditional Kabbalistic thing to do, because usually when they do that, it's usually like the Kundalini also like rising up through the chakras. That's what it also represents. It's the rising energy reaching back up, you know. Um, hello, Mountain Girl 70. So yeah. Yeah, here we go. Any tarot works if you have the knowledge. Imagine someone telling you what cards they pulled, and depending if you use reversal, how have they landed. You're not using images, just knowledge. Well, here's the thing. I prefer someone tell me what's in those images and what they're seeing in those images. That's why I'm saying like tarot's a little bit easier to regulate, because if they're pulling cards and they're not really like, you know, saying anything about what's in the cards, are they really reading your cards? It's a tarot reading after all, you know. You're reading the tarot, you know. So yeah. Yep, Jake Gyllenhaal. No, from Michael Fassbender and Jake Gyllenhaal. But when I hear wormhole, I also think of Interstellar and all that. So yeah. You're not using images, just knowledge. Oh, comma continued. Feeling, intuition, and psychic ability you have. Okay. What is that book someone was recommending? Let me find the link to share here. It was again, chopping veggies. I do that. I do stuff like that too when I'm on live streams. I'm like, wait, I'm washing dishes. I want to say something, but my hands are wet and soapy. I don't want to dirty my phone. But yeah, let me find it. Here we go. This one, the Tao of Psychology. Mm. I was eating chicken nachos. So yeah. Oh, whoa. Calm down there, computer. So yeah, this was an interesting chat. I'm still gonna look for this. I wish you did like define some of this, some of the stuff here, but I guess that's not the point of this book. Let's go back to 39. Let's go not back, but let's move on to 39 here. Okay. Okay, so here's something interesting here. So yeah, oh, and there's the Tao of Psychology and the Goodreads link. Thank you to Annika. So yeah. So yeah. So yeah. Okay. So here's what it is. So Irene Gadd gives the High Priestess the psychological interpretation of the High Priestess represents the intuition of hidden knowledge, the dawning of wisdom rooted in the dark, the past, the timeless. She is creative inspiration and a bridge between the conscious and unconscious layers of the psyche. Okay. So, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. So again, the High Priestess and the Magician are like also two sides of the same coin to me as well. You know, a lot of people will say High Priestess and the Pope, which yeah, that is, but in different forms. You know, they're reflections of each other in different forms. Oh my God. Come on. Ah. Let's see. Let me go back to here. 39, let's go to 41. Right? Okay, 41. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh, this is interesting, but I'm not. I wanna really like take it in, but I'm not looking for that right now. Let's see. Okay, some decks show the High Priestess with two keys, logic and intuition, in her left hand. Without their cooperation, the Book of Secret Knowledge held in her right hand could not become intelligible. They unlock the two doors to the white and the black lights, whereby the white light can be found only after the black is known. Truth can only be seen only by those to whom the High Priestess entrusts these keys, which in this context stand for equilibrium and the equivalence of opposites. Okay. Okay. Let's see. As a former forensic psychologist, I know very little about Jungian psychology. uh, High Priestess as Isis unveiled. Yeah. I mean, that's usually more esoteric and occult, you know? But yeah, yeah. Let me see here. Let me continue on to here. The intuition function. Let me see. I'm looking for her. I'm waiting for her to define it. But let me see. Hmm. Okay. No. Okay. Not the easiest book. Let me see here. 54. Yeah, we already talked about, right? No. Oh my gosh. So much reading. Why is the research so hard? Just give it to me. Just let it spoon feed it to me. Download it to me like in the Matrix. Let's see here. And then on page 100. Come on, give me something good. Okay, this is something. What is this? Wheel of Fortune? Hmm. The four divisions of the way. Yeah, yeah. The four tetramorphs and the four functions, I guess. Um, let's see. We barely touched on Young Yin as well. My teacher was obsessed with Freud and sex, which I guess is I guess that's a lot about my what is that? MH teacher? Mental health teacher? What is that? What does MH stand for? Or about my teacher and the H is just a typo. Hello, Rachel Days. Let's see. Oh, she was about to mention that I couldn't be tabular. Okay, okay. Uh, okay. So yeah, is what else? What else? So now we're going. What other words were we trying to define as well that we were like, wait, what about this in terms of like how it reacts with right imagination, right? Something like that. Imagination. Okay, so I think we like I mean we kind of know, but it's like never know. Is that how interesting that this shows up for imagination? An allegory for imagination. It's this woman. I'm assuming. Yeah, right. Yeah, with a harp, and she also has wings, like an angel, but she also has wings on her head, but she doesn't have a helmet like Hermes. Who is this? Who did this? Who is she? I never knew there was like an allegorical figure for imagination. Not I shouldn't be surprised though. Um, the faculty or action of forming new ideas or image concepts of external objects not present to the senses. Okay, yeah. The ability of the mind to be creative or resourceful, the part of the mind that imagines It's part of the mind that imagines things. Okay. Oh, don't get me started. I'm gonna. What is magic? I'm just gonna say. What was it that Crowley says that it's essentially like it's any process in which you take action to do something to get something done in a way. So really, magic can be something very mundane, but it can also be something much more, as we usually assume with magic. But that's magic with a K. But well, you know what I mean. So it's like from what I've gathered, the basic term of what magic is, it's like, okay, it's a simple form is I want to see I want to see Zach suffer. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. It's a hard habit to break to spell my name correctly. um no, not even, don't even. Not a professor. I'm like, I just have way too much free time on my hand. Let's be real, and even then, I don't use it wisely for studying. Um, so it's like, so essentially, magic can be like, again, going back to you're hungry. Okay, I'm hungry. I'm gonna order food. I'm gonna, and it's sort of like if you want to say it's like a ritual as well. It's like I demand or order the food that I want with the drink that I want with the size that I want. Okay, it's going to cost you this. Okay, I'm going to sacrifice this much of my money to get it, and then you're going to give it to me. And then it's also like there's so that's like the kind of basic term of it, and kind of the same blueprint connects to with any like uh, spell work or ritual ceremonial magic that one does. I would assume. I'm assuming it's probably a little more complicated than that, but to simplify it, I mean, we are trying to simplify it. So yeah, uh, and no, I think they put the K to differentiate between and say magic, no K, uh, is Chris Angel and uh, David Copperfield, uh, where Magic with a K is Aleister Crowley, and who else? I can't think of anyone else. In a way, yeah. Um, let's see. Your intelligence and desire to continually learn more and grow is what draws me to your space. Oh, thank you. uh, yeah, it's an exchange of sorts. It's a. I need to find that quote from Crowley. I can't remember. Wait, what am I doing? What am I doing? I do have the quote because it's in his magic book, book 4, Liber Abba, whatever. But it's huge and expensive. Here it is. Hands-on chaos magic. If I remember from the introduction. Okay, so yeah, here we go. 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 Of course, I'm like, I should have known. I should have known. Yeah. Okay, Aleister Crowley in Magic Book 4, Liber Abba, or Liber ABA, argued that magic is any intentional act of will. This statement is probably a good starting point. Yeah, it's put in the most grossly simplistic form. Magic is any intentional act of will. Let me write that. Let me write that down. I think we don't. Wait, I think we don't. I think we don't have the need to distance ourselves from stage performers. That's why we dropped the K. And I think with this rule here, any intentional act of will, so their intention is to entertain and to bring awe to us with their acts of, of their performative acts, in any way, shape, or form. They're still, in a way, these magicians or illusionists, whatever you want to call them, are also still doing magic, in a way. Uh, so so from what I know, Liber 777 is just like a book of correspondences. And so you're just gonna get like, I think it's mostly like charts and tables, and it's like this thing is associated to this and this and this and this, like this Sephiroth is associated to this musical note and this, herb and this crystal and this that. So I guess that's like for like charts and reference, it's very useful. Book of the Law is like, what is Book of the Law? It's like a religious, poetic, weird text, honestly, from what little I've known of it. I haven't read it, and I don't have either. But I think you should. I kind of feel like you don't really need Liber 777. I think you should read Book of the Law first. And when you do read Book of the Law first, prepare yourself to reread it again and again, and you'll Swan Spirit. Late to the party, just passing. Have you elevated yourself of your unwanted... oh, I think you mean alleviated? No, elevated? I don't know. Of your unwanted decks, or read the Ring Cycle book. Yeah, I have not. I haven't read it because it's like I like to do other stuff, but I have gotten rid of some unwanted decks, but not all of them. So there's still a long ways to go with moving some things out of my collection. So yeah. What is this? But with lots of TikTokers, shams. I reckon we bring that up. Bring what up exactly? I lost it again. Yeah, Book of the Law over and over. Yeah, I guess both. Then I mean, I would. There's Stephen Skinner. I think look up like correspondence books. Like there's like the Complete Magician's Tables. I think is one. That yeah. So again, it varies. I think it's because 777 is Crowley's and Crowley's specific correspondences to each of them. To correspondences to like not only the tarot but also the Sephiroth and other stuff. So yeah. Note to self, sneak interview. Absolutely. I'm like, wait, Benabel, do you have a library? I haven't seen it. I should really move to ebooks. I think because I'm like too many books, but I'm like, but I want books. But anyways. Okay, you want to go back out? You go back outside? Yeah. Hold on. Watch, she's gonna want to come back in like 2 minutes. Oh yeah, for sure. You have to like you should have a ground. You should have an understanding of Kabbalah, astrology, I Ching, before you can really read the Book of Thoth. But honestly, well, you see what I have to deal with with my dog. My God. So yeah. One day, when I get new bookshelves. Come on, people. Isn't it weird that with our physical items, we kind of go to that doomsday, idea, when it's our tarot collection or our books or our items, our brains naturally go to that for some reason. It's probably our like hunter gatherer, like we've gathered all this stuff, we got to protect what we've gathered and what we've hunted for and what we've claimed, we got to protect it. I just realized, oh yeah, I haven't opened my Gnostic Tarot or the book based on Jung. The Gnostic Tarot, is that the one by the guy that made the Charles Dickens Tarot, right? And the Shakespeare Tarot and the different Hollywood movie tarot deck. What else? What else did he do? Charles Dickens and the Shakespeare one is the biggest ones that I've like known from him. So yeah. Um, but anyways, so what else were we gonna talk about? we went. I like these types of conversations, but I also don't like how they're like kind of like roundabout. Really didn't really go anywhere, but we did discuss some things and we kind of did solidify that. So yeah, some things like intuition. We finally figured out what intuition is, or well, we've set a definition of what intuition is. The psychology today. Let's see. Intuition, gut feelings. Is intuition gut feeling? Let's see. Let's. Should I read this out? I mean, it's online for free. Me copy paste here. She is too cute. So this is what I'm reading from right now. If you guys want to read it yourself and you don't want to hear me read it out, but I'm going to read it out. So if you guys can give it the clicks, I guess. Intuition is a form of knowledge that appears in consciousness without obvious deliberation. It is not magical, but rather a faculty in which hunches are generated by the unconscious mind rapidly shifting through past experience and cumulative knowledge. Often referring to as gut feelings, intuition tends to arise holistically and quickly without awareness of the underlying mental processing of information. Scientists have repeatedly demonstrated how information can register on the brain without conscious awareness and positively influence decision making and other behavior. Uh, so yeah, psychologists believe that intuition relies on power of pattern matching, which we've covered already. We kind of brought up already in our chat ourselves. As the mind combs experience stored in long-term memory for similar situations and presence in the moment. Wait. Let me reread that. Psychologists believe that intuition relies on powers of pattern matching as the mind combs experiences stored in long-term memory for similar situations and presents in the moment judgments based on them. That's a little bit of a run-on sentence. Maybe you could break this up. Turning into a little paperclip right there. The automatic information processing that underlies intuition can be seen in the everyday phenomenon known as highway hypnosis, which occurs when a driver travels for miles without a conscious thought about the activity of driving the car. Okay. Intuition is often referred to as gut feelings, as they seem to arise fully formed from some deep part of us. In fact, they are the product of brain processing that automatically compares swiftly perceived elements of current experience with past experience and knowledge, and they are delivered to awareness with considerable emotional certainty. Let's see. How do gut feelings relate to first impressions? First impressions, like tarot reviews? I'm just kidding. Intuition, like first impressions, serves the brain's need to predict and prepare for what will happen next. First impressions are rapid, holistic assessments of people based on subtle perceptual cues and judgment of intent to help or harm. Both rely on automatic processes, and as rapid evaluation systems. Both are subject to error, especially from biases we hold. So okay, so I guess intuition is also isn't free of bias then, because I think that's another take that I've kind of had is uh uh you know I thought like, okay, intuition is kind of free of bias. That might not necessarily be the case then, right? Anyways, um yeah, again, yeah, instinct and intuition not the same for me. Yeah, I have to agree. Instinct is a little different than that. Instinct is more our physical, biological, bodily needs a bit, you know. Yeah, reptilian brain instinct. Yeah, like our fear of the dark or our um, I don't know, there's something else, or like like I said, hunger. That to me is like an example of instinct I could, or unless I'm mistaking it. Uh, oh no, we're not going to talk about this, are we? Did I talk about that? The soul deck? We'll get into that in another live stream. Uh, yes, 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 yeah. I heard about that. Yeah, 20 years to paint tarot based on Jungianism. I always am interested in seeing those decks that took forever to paint. It's always like, because the Rider Waite Smith took like 6 months to be completed. Um, and then you have like the Thoth, which took 8 years, and you have this one here taking 20. Yeah, but yeah, what is tarot? What is the idea of tarot? What is the function of tarot? What is intuition? And what is magic? That is what we've talked about today. Yeah, intuition is not free of bias. Its info processing is not free of bias, conscious or not. That's another thing that I wanted to clarify that I was like kind of brushing over, but I'm like, wait, we'll get to that. And like my brain just like pushed it to the side, like wait, bias. So yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, first impressions can be a whole bunch of projections. Yeah, projections. That's another thing too. Uh, Peekaboo Rose, right? Is that who you're talking about? Peekaboo Rose. Yeah, I watched. Yeah, I watched her, and I have some commentary to say about the Soul deck and what it is. I swear I talked about it. Either no, I'm confusing it with because I talked about it with the TT and T group chat. Um, I feel like a discussion of the Soul deck falls within the scope of what she's just trying to get me to talk. That's what it is. What is tarot's last purpose of tarot? Yeah. Um, but I said our personal opinions, by the way. I never needed to say that, but I think yeah. Honestly, the same. It's like this is me. I'm not the end all be all. I'm just a I'm just a 25. Am I 25 years old? Oh my god, I'm 25 years old. Anyways, I'm a 25-year-old, just, with a, again, not with a high school education, not really like fully understanding what I'm really saying. So do more research outside of me. All right. Don't, although I do like to have that feeling of, yes, I was right. Huh. But honestly, again, a year down the line, I could come back and be like, okay, wait a minute. You guys, we made a little oopsie. It's so yeah. Yes, she is. I knew it. So yeah, I want to kind of, well, no, I left the link there, but yeah. Okay, let me read this part here. Should I trust my intuition? Let's see what this says. Gut feelings do have their value in complex decision makings. Studies of top executives show that even after they analyze mounds of data, the information does not tell them what to do. That is where intuition is a guide. People typically cite rational seeming criteria for their actions and do not disclose the subjective preferences of feelings that rise spontaneously. I guess the same can apply to a tarot reading. You have your collection of data, which is the spread that you laid out. But again, what is your decision that you're going to make? The tarot should not be that sole, do this. It's not a commandment. It's not a commander controlling, your decision. It's Again, it's giving you the data and the information that you kind of are in need of. But again, in the end, you're like, okay, I think I'm going to do this, you know. And it may not necessarily be what tarot recommends, you know. Because that is another thing that I've when I one of the examples that I use to describe what the tarot is to, I think, to my sister was that I called it, it's like a calculator. You know, that's really what it is. It calculates, you know, in a way, in a randomized way, you know, information and data, and presents it to you in a certain way. So yeah, a calculator is another way of what tarot could be in terms of using it outside of gameplay, which I guess in a way is also, you know, games can also use calculations and, you know, what is it, code, to entertain us. So it is like, there is like a code to this, you know. I'm a baby, so yeah. So should we talk about soul decks then? Right, is that the next thing in this like 3-hour chat that we're going to be doing now? There we go. Let's see. In DBT, we're taught to distinguish intuition from fear or anxiety by understanding our values. Intuition helps us live in line with our values, helps push us in the direction of our values, is the idea. Okay. I love that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because it does, like, it pushes us for our values. It lines up with that idea of using tarot for self-development, you know? It's like, okay, this is our aspirations and the higher values that we want to attain and be like and hold up and want to put out in the world, you know? So yeah, I love that, Katie. Thank you, Katie. So yeah, oh yes, this link from the rest in peace Eclectic Tarot Forum. We were wondering, you know, what when we talked about soul decks, we were like, okay, who was the first person to talk about the soul deck? You know, for me, it was, I believe, either I believe it was Kelly from the Truth and Story. One of us in the group chat said Katie Flowers, but then I'm like, girl, let me just Google this. What is the soul deck or whatever in my keyboard, and I went and I looked it up, and of course Eclectic Tarot Forum came up 2009, you know, and the terminology is kind of used in a way that kind of indicates that the term was there before that, even then, you know. So when it showed up, I'd have to do more research on that. That's kind of not the point, but point is that it's been around for quite a while, I think, maybe since 2000s. So yeah, like, I don't know. I'll look into it more, or someone look into it. Honestly, I don't really care. What's more important is what the soul deck is. Have you found the soul deck? What makes the soul deck? Where is the soul? You know, how, you know, should you find the soul deck, and how does one find the soul deck? What's the gains and the positivity of, you know, getting a soul deck, you know? Oh, that's true. No, not necessarily. But again, like, I think as Katie Flowers said, it's like the definition isn't so necessarily limited to that. But yeah, it's like, yeah, that is how. Well, again, it was problem solving. I have a math problem in front of me. You know, I have this equation. You know, and the rule can apply if those numbers correlated to real life data of of products or materials that I need that I have available to work with to solve a problem, you know. I guess that's how math would play into it. But again, in that context, so again, the intuition function is working in that problem solving position that, again, and so again, although it is more just data and materials, I think the same underlying function would work for social issues and moral dilemmas going on, like if we were to look at the trolley problem of like, you either you have like 5 people tied down on one rail and then one person tied down on another, the trolley's moving, you can only switch the direction, how are you gonna, what's your decision, that it's sort of kind of, that might be, intuition might play into that. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm misinterpreting it. Let's see. I might argue no. In that instance, intuitive knowledge had nothing to do with values. Yeah, yeah. So I guess it's more like my brain was like exercising its intuition and solving that. Because again, it's like in the end, I had to show my work. Oh God, what is a soul? Oh God, not that. Oh, oh. Let's see. I'm not sure if that's the page I saw, but that one, a collective tarot page, used the term soul decks in quotation mark. Yeah, it's like, so it goes to show that, that, yeah. Anyways, yeah, no. And like I said, it's like when that, again, to say that again, now I'm like, maybe it wasn't intuition, but I feel like it was close. I feel like it was intuition. I don't know. My intuition is telling me that it was intuition. Yeah, this is in their philosophy. Honestly, I feel like that. I guess, yeah. I guess there is the soul deck for every single person, but I think that's internally to you, which goes back to, again, I think this is where Benabel was kind of getting at, where it's like you have the idea of what the tarot looks like or is in your brain, and then you will eventually project that into a tarot deck. I mean, that's why I feel like that's why Golden Dawn also said like make your own tarot deck or color in your own tarot deck, you know. So yeah, I see values being right. Oh no. Oh, that's another one. Let's talk spiritual cognizance whilst reading the tarot. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, my instinct says run them over. Is it your instinct or is it your intuition? Or is it your imagination? I don't know. Oh, I love this. I love this. I love this narrative of shifting away from like there's only one soulmate, because again it leads to such toxic relationships and people clinging on to the idea of this is my soulmate. This is my soulmate. And no one else will. I'm like, what? I'm like, girl, there are over 7 billion people in the world. Are you really going to limit yourself to that? You know what I mean? What I mean? Like, not to say that there's like better or worse, or there's only worse or there's only better, but rather different, because you're going to come across different people, different souls, if you want to say, and they're all going to be flawed and, damaged in their own way. And working with a relationship is, working with that and not necessarily trying to solve it, but learning to manage that in a relationship and learning to work with that in a relationship. If that's right. And here's, I think, the aspect here, the main feature of Mary Grace's video on the soul deck here. I've noticed a lot of people on the hunt for a soul deck think that finding it will make them a good reader. It's not just about a deck, it's about who they want to be as a reader. Yeah, I think that's where it was kind of leading to, where the hunt for, it's not like, listen, I have like over 30 decks, I believe, in these stacks right here. It's off camera. It's just a little bit off camera. And then also here, but hunting for those, shopping for them, buying for them, looking to buy them, that wasn't me finding my soul deck. Finding the soul deck was studying the tarot, learning, the meanings of the cards and the correspondences and the archetypes and all that goes into and learning to work with the tarot and how certain images work best in a reading versus others, getting their kind of, reach to finding what the soul deck is. And I think the soul deck is internally what you know, and you can put that soul out there, or maybe there will be a deck that's put out there that's like, oh, that's perfect, that's it, they finally did it, I don't have to do it myself. But again, the best way is to make the one that you want, and make the deck that you want to put out, which is easier said than done. And this is what I'm saying here. I think hunting for a soul deck is just an excuse for people to keep shopping who cannot face themselves and how they are as they do this. So it is easy to blame external things like the term. And I think one of the things that Mary Grace kind of is on the right track, but she kind of misses the mark, is where she's saying that the soul deck was a made-up term to get people to buy decks. I don't think it was made up that way. I don't think that was its intention. I don't think people did that. If it was, it would have been a company like Los Carabeo or Llewellyn or US Games putting that term out there to get people to buy more and more decks, rather than a person that loves tarot, that is in the tarot community. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if I said the C word and I offended anyone, because I offended myself. We will move on. I will learn to do better. I'm sorry. Let's see. My imagination is picturing the scene from The Good Place on that very train example. So yeah. Hello, Amethyste. I saw you come around, but I haven't. But I saw you commenting, and I'm like, oh wait. I'm like, I should say hi. Hello. I think a lot of us use. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's see where it's at. Let's see, what is this? I don't even understand that way of thinking. Also, why not address those types of beliefs instead of attacking the term? Oh, the soulmates and all that, instead of attacking the yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it has been more on the hunt and finding the actual tangible physical copy of the deck, where I'm like, I think the soul deck is your soul. Yeah. But the hunt does feed into consumer. Yes, it does. And feeling of lack if someone doesn't have a soul deck, as if it is the ultimate goal. Yeah, it's not. And I said this before, and I'll say it again here. Buying and collecting tarot is not working with tarot. Let's see. Whoa. Okay. And how they are like as they do. I don't know. Are we maybe taking people to literally, if I say I'm gonna die, if it's obviously a hyperbole, people are using a soul deck as a fun tongue-in-cheek hyperbole. I think that's another thing too. Yeah, I think wait, we might be getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah. Come on, Pickles. Here we go again. You're either gonna stay here or you're gonna stay outside. You gotta make your mind up, baby girl. All right. That is true. I think some people aren't necessarily saying the soul deck. I think some people are just saying my soul deck. But again, it's like But again, I think also we have to be conscious of the words that we say. On the other hand, just the thought that just came to mind of like, well, it's your soul you're talking about. Something very intimate and very, precious and special in a way, if you believe you have a soul or whatever. But I think, I think a majority of tarot readers and tarot practitioners will believe that they have a soul and things have souls. So yeah. So again, this goes back to what to what is the soul? And do you believe in a soul? Do you have a soul? Like again, yeah. Which is why it's like it's good to have multiples. As the Truth and Story said, the 7 parts of my soul tag, and she said that with the 7 decks that she found as her 7 soul decks. And then Natalia kind of approached it in a different approach, not necessarily saying it's a soul deck, but rather they're counselors. It's her council of 10, 7. What was the number? I don't know. But her council of decks that she will reach to is, again, tarot is also a tool for counseling. For to use another term. I love anyone that who makes an Anne of Green Gables reference. I've only seen a few episodes here and there of that show. Well, at least the Netflix remake, modern interpretation of it. Let's see, a narcissistic product. Personally, I think it's something that resonates with where you sit in order to progress. So yeah, let me see. Let's see. I have a deck that I've been using for over 30 years. My beloved Gil Tarot. I use it over 90% of my professional readings. For me, it would have to be, and it's like, here's the thing. And maybe and I have to look at this as to why I don't feel like, oh, these decks, even though I really like them and I really connect with them in a way that I can read with them pretty well, I don't really consider them the soul deck. I hesitate to consider them a soul deck, So for me, it's Marielle and Tarot of Delphi for sure. There's probably another one in there that I'm like, oh yes, this one too. But honestly, those are the first two to come to mind. The Marielle and the Tarot of Delphi are, to me, soul decks. Maybe Pavlov, but honestly, like, if I had to choose between Delphi and Pavlov, oh, don't make me choose Delphi. So yeah. So fine. Taking the inquiry seriously, then no. I would say, in my opinion, I don't believe in a soul deck, but I do believe that there are decks that I love a lot more than others. Yeah, I think that also applies. It's like I just said, it's like there's some that I like super connect with super well, and then there's others that I'm like, I don't really care for. And I think it's those decks that I'm like, I don't really care for you. I don't really care for Job. Oh my God, Pickles. Look at her. She's like, I hear things going on outside. I must go see them. All right, here we go again. Oh my God. You're either going to stay in here or go outside. What do you want to do? I should look to getting a doggy door on my door for her then. Oh, girl, it has been a while, girl. Baby girl, where the hell have you been? How have you been? You have been like a silent gone, like, girl. Well, at least on YouTube. I see you post on Instagram and do stuff on Instagram still, but yeah. Are you okay? Are you good? What's going on? I thought, not another sacred seed. Let's see. I have teacher decks, which I think that's another thing. I think Marielle and Tarot of Delphi are teacher decks for me, particularly and especially the Marielle, because that's the one I like seriously studied first of all the tarot decks and all the tarot books. That was the one I went with. That's the one I said, let's do this. I do not ever read tarot books, not about how to do tarot. Anyways, I learned from going through decks after decks, Tarot of Delphi Sevenfold. You see, that's where I'm like, okay, no, I really didn't use tarot books. I used a book of symbols and all that to learn about the Marielle. I should have used more resources, which I did for, which I'm doing now for my current video series. But yeah, but Marielle, I just use the Signs and Symbol source book and what else? And my basic knowledge of mythology, I think. And I don't know what else I used. But yeah, that was one of the key books that I used to interpret that. I'm like, let's just symbolically break this deck down, and that's what I learned. And then eventually I'm like, oh wait, numerology. So yeah. Let's see. I use different decks based on what my intuition calls for. Is it? Or is it your instinct? I don't know. Anyways. Come on, Pickles. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Agreed. I have decks I love, decks I've used on the regular, and I'm eyeing decks I want to get my fingers on. Also decks I love to hate or hate to love. uh, yeah, it's like I do have a small list of decks to still get. Spirit Keeper's Tarot, which I'm like, I'm gonna order that today, and I never got around to it. But I will soon. Speaking of Benabel when. Let's see. And then also the Golden Eclipse Tarot. That's kind of one that I'm interested in seeing as well. Tarot of the Starlight Fantasia, I think is the one by the creators of by the creator of the Alice deck. So yeah. Let's see. What is this? I've been trying to reconnect with the polyglot. What is that? Community on both Instagram and YouTube. What is that? Polyglot. It's so familiar. What is that? I'm pretty sure Soren's been like, I talked about this before. I can't remember. Polyglot. Poly. It's like the poly, so like many glot. No idea. Is that a typo? Am I misreading that? It sounds familiar, but I can't remember. But I wouldn't say a tarot deck would become in any serious way connected to my literal soul. That's true, and that's why I'm saying it's like the soul. It's like, how serious are we taking the term soul? You know. Let's see. Soul decks. Now that I have read tarot for a while, I have to say that it's not something that I can say have. If it reads well and I enjoy using it, it works for me. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah. Let's see. And if we're taking things seriously and traditionally, I can't tie a deck to myself even if I want to. Witches don't have it. Yeah, that's like I said. It's like, do you believe you have a soul? Do we have a soul? Like, what is going on? Oh, language learning community. Okay, there we go. Okay. Multiple language. Oh, okay. Many. Oh, that's what E is saying. Speaking many languages. Okay. I'm like many multiple. I was getting there. I was breaking down the roots. I'm like glot. I didn't know what is that, Latin or Greek for what. Uh, hmm. Let's see. What am I missing here? So yeah. So I guess we should start asking, what is a soul? Let's ask Google. Internet, explain to me, what is a soul? Because I will say one thing. There is a distinction between spirit and soul. And that's one thing that I think, like, when it comes to like describing the differences of the tarot, wands are associated to spirit, cups are associated to soul. And it's like, okay. And you're starting to realize that, oh, uh, you know, this part of spirit is within the soul and pushes the soul and drives the soul, you know. So let's see. So there's different. So there's all religion, art, and popular music. Okay, so soul music. The spiritual or immaterial part of a human being or animal regarded as immortal. Emotional or intellectual energy or intensity, especially as revealed in a work of art or an artistic performance. Their interpretation lacked soul. I say that a lot about a lot of the tarot reviews that I see on it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Uh, let's see. Very agnostic, but I called it the Gil Tarot, my soul deck, because of how much I connected with it, and it felt the same to me through synchronicity. It felt like an experience I didn't have words for. There we go. Hmm. Hmm. Souls of the spirit, mind. Oh my god. Mind, I okay, so I feel like, well, they're like connected, but they are distinct and different, you know. You have spirit, you have soul, you have mind, and you have your body, you know, the four parts of the self. And then I think also, and then the Egyptians had like seven, probably more if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, they said like who you are internally, but also like your shadow, and then also your who you were to other people, and the presence that you left, you know, throughout life, you know, and how you've interacted with others. That is also a part of you as well. Um, oh my god, let's not talk about twin flames. I don't. It's so new agey. It's so like it's. Let's see. Living things have souls. Spirits are other. Yeah, I think like with spirit, it's spirit has been outside of incarnation. You know, or it's a part of it, but it's like separate from it. You know, it's right to me from what little I've known. What is this? A lot of Asian metaphysical theories subscribe to soul dualism. The spirit might be likened to a form of ki. Actually, there's a term for its distinct form of ki, shen. Okay, okay. Well, yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's just pieces of paper we put intention into. True, true. It's yeah, it's yeah. But rather, well, because again, it goes into that. Okay, so why don't we just have our blank index cards and write numbers on them, or you know, write a word on each of them and just read off of that, you know? But no, to me, it requires those images. It requires those figures to be in there. What is that? It's a kid on a bike. Oh my god, scared the shit out of me. Let's see. Peeps confuse deep emotion for connection, but it so often presents with poor interpersonal boundaries. Uh, right? Let's see. Confuse deep emotion for connection, but it so often presents with poor interpersonal boundaries. Divulge further. Yeah, this reminds me of the kami concept in Japanese spirituality, I think. The idea of them as energy more than anything. You see? And this is where I was like, kami, the term kami for in Japanese, when I've always seen it translated in like anime, has always been like translated to God or as a god, because I guess that's the closest, best, you know, definition, that the translational definition that they could have. But I'm like, no, from what little I've looked into it, I think it's a little bit different from what the West considers a god and what they would consider a god, or what the East considers a god. Now we're getting into a whole bunch of other stuff, but yeah, yeah. uh, yeah, deep emotion not equal to connection. Okay, 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 okay. So what signifies a deep emotion? you know, um, and what makes a connection? You know, because wouldn't an emotional reaction in any form make a connection? Now we're getting into some philosophical shit, because that reaction is that connection that you've had to said thing or situation or person or whatever. You know, right? Uh, 'Cause, 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 uh, 'c Oh, what is this? I've spent many years doing readings for people from their scrunched up blank pieces of paper. How they like crumpled paper? What? Well, again, you're reading into something a little bit more than just a blank, flat nothing, you know? I feel connected. It slash she must be my soulmate. Oh, okay. I see what you mean now. I see what you're talking about now. Yeah. Uh, oh, look at this. It translates to it does translate to God. Ah, but then again, customers in Japan are also kami-sama or Mr. Miss Mix God. Well, I guess that's more of like a customer like reverence and respect to it, because I think that that's a running theme throughout, like at least from what, again, from what little I've read from mythology, is like you never know if you're gonna talk to a god or a spirit in disguise as a human, I guess. So it's like best to treat with utmost respect to the people that you're welcoming into your house as a guest, or into your workplace as a customer or a guest. So it's best to play it safe and, you know, uh, hesitantly test, you know, act like their reverence to you. Which again, it spreads into that. It might spread into that. The customer's always right, but I'm like, girl, only if they're respectful, you know. But again, I could be wrong. This is just based on my limited knowledge. Lots of things are translated to gods in English, and 90% are completely different beasts. And even Christians and people influenced by Christianity give God a weird definition. Yeah, we have our what is it? What is the word? Where where we say God, and you know, Christian Western US people will probably envision an old white man with a beard, you know, and long hair maybe. And that's not necessarily the case. You know, if you look at like Family Guy, you know, in those comedies, cutaways where they'll show like God, they'll depict him as like with a white beard and white hair, and he's a little older and he's white. You know, and it's like, no, I feel like with God, it's a little more beyond that. Yeah, yeah, no, language does not translate word for word, and so something usually gets slightly lost in translation. Yeah, for sure, it's usually best to translate uh messages, I guess, the ideas that you're trying to share, you know. Because again, it's like, yeah, there's variations in there, like when Putin described Trump as, you know, we kind of mistranslated it as bright, I believe, but really what he meant, not like bright, like light, illuminated, intelligent, more like bright as in colorful, clownish, you know, in that sense, which is kind of like, which which we can read into with the Fool card. But yeah, so that's what was, that was, yeah yeah. Pictures, signs, symbols appear from scrunched up paper, energy. Yeah, so you're reading into that image that's in there. It's not a blank piece of paper anymore, like that whiteboard, but right there, it's blank, kind of, for the most part. But it's blank. When I write stuff on there, or I draw something on there, or I stain it with something, it obviously has something there. Or if I were to break it, or if I were to melt it down, or whatever, you know, then that changes it, and you can read into that, whatever, you know, right? um okay. Let's see. We see a lot of that with people superimposing a Christian concept of God to pagan entities labeled God as, i.e., omniscient, omnipresent, and other. The other. Oh, I don't remember now. Yeah. Uh, yeah, because we kind of, yeah. That's one of the things that I keep slipping up on, is like omniscient, omnipresent, and all that. And it's like all these myths are like talking about like gods that aren't omniscient and omnipresent. Yeah. No. Uh, oh, totally. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, kami sort of God, but not really a God. Yeah, it's like how, you know, in a way, it's similar to how like the word demon came to be, where it was really from the Greek daimon, and it's really just the Greek word for spirit, you know, um, not like evil demon that's gonna, you know, from hell or whatever. Which even that hell itself is also a translation from, I believe, you know, a lot of from either Norse or something. Anyways, let's see. Omnipotent. There we go. On all powerful. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know much about Japanese. Yeah, yeah. But I know when I see kami, I'm not. I yes, I do see it as like God, but I always have that disclaimer asterisk there. I'm like, okay, so far it's saying God, but I'm pretty sure when I study more into it, it's probably going to be it'll be more clear as to what exactly it is. Let's see. Okay, Zach, gotta go. Great topics. I'll finish listening. All right, all right. Bye to my spirit. The sarcasm. um, hmm. That's I should yeah. This is something we should all do. Ask ask who what you mean by God, or what the idea of God, you know, yeah, you're saying, you're talking about. It's very true. Also, I don't know who that person was that she put in all caps. What was it? Mithra and wait, mirth, no, mirth and reverence. I was like Mithra. I was reading Mithra for some reason. Mm. Like Zach, I think sometimes there is not a word for word translation, but many words can be translated through concepts, ideas. Yeah, sometimes you need a sentence to describe a word that's in another language. Yeah, translations are only as good as a translator's understanding, though. Yep. Arrival. Have y'all not seen Arrival? uh, let's see. You know, Soren, have you seen? I'm pretty sure you've seen Arrival. I'm pretty sure Soren knows the language that they made in Arrival. All of a sudden, he starts like writing, and he starts writing them in little circles and in the chat. Oh, girl, yeah, scary, scary. The Swan Spirit. Yeah, that's from the QAnon, right? I'm pretty sure it was before that, but it probably like stem. You know, I'm pretty sure there's a connection. Most likely from QAnon that they did that. I know. I'm like Mithra. My brain was reading Mithra. Thanks, Raised by Wolves, for bringing that to my attention. Uh, I think I have. If you haven't, I think you'll like it because it's about translating an alien language. That's literally what it's about. Yep. You see, look at that. You know, which yeah, the Italian Inferno. Yeah, it sounds, when I hear Inferno, I think furnace. I think that's why, like the word furnace and Inferno, but really that's probably not where the Latin root it's kind of implying, because it's like uh infero, bringing in. That's interesting. That is it. I love that. You know, which by the way, I always love that word, inferno, you know, as scary as it is, you know, for my Christian upbringing. Ooh, 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 yeah. Lots of evidence connecting the Australian Prime Minister to go. Oh, oh. Ugh. That's horrifying. Just looked it up. Yes, I have. Okay, okay. I'm like, if he hasn't seen it, I'm like, uh, yeah. And again, and to speak of another word, Messiah, it's like, do y'all even know what that means? you know, I can't really fully describe it. And this is one thing that I've since middle school, that was like one of the weird lessons that I've kind of had to learn, because you know through my education, my education was a little bit different because I needed some special education. Handwriting was shit, you know. And so was like my reading comprehension was in a weird way. I don't know. So I had to go to take a special class for this, and I learned calligraphy for cursive and all that. And in there we also did like exercises of defining words and working to explain and define words and concepts, in that, and having me work on that. What was it? There was like a word that she was like, "Oh, can you like, what is the definition?" I'm like, "Well, it's like this." I can't. Yeah. And so Messiah kind of falls into that, like, okay, what's the definition? Like what we were doing with like intuition and imagination and a soul and all that. Um, yeah. And it's funny that we kind of took it because Helfheim, isn't that supposed to be cold, right? Helfheim, right? Is that how you pronounce it? The reign of Hela. Am I pronouncing that right? I'm trying to make it a guttural H, but no, I need to calm down with that. By Benabel. Uh, yeah. You see, and here's what I thought. I thought QAnon was kind of like dissipating after after Biden was inaugurated or whatever, and he was like, it was like, and people were like, wait a minute, but I guess they're still around. I think I read somewhere that like last month people were saying no, the true inauguration is going to happen and then Trump is going to come back, and it's like, what? No, like, what? It's still happening. Like every month they're going to keep pushing. I was like, stop trying to make it happen. Just wait 3 more years so he can lose again. All right, bye, Katie Flowers. Did you have a language processing problem? Not necessarily a language processing problem, more like a, right? No, wait, maybe it is. I think probably, maybe. I think so. Because I have to see. I have to double check on that. Yeah, they bug that up into fire and brimstone. Then the italic, the underworld is mad. EOF shades. They weren't just Romans or colonized by Greeks, just because yes, southern Italy was colonized by Greeks. We didn't go there to steal the Greek gods. No, they just pivoted. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, bye. All right, bye, Katie. Okay. This was productive. I don't know where else to go with this. I think we've discussed enough. Well, I've kind of rambled enough and approached questions. Whether we've answered the questions that we've presented or not, I don't think that's the point. I think what really matters is the connections that we made within this wonderful community. I'm sorry, I can't I can't take the word community seriously now. What's this? Mine was an expressive language problem. Had a speech class to fix it. Yeah, I think mine was more like I didn't really take my handwriting seriously. Like with this education system, I feel like that wasn't really a strong emphasis on, and my handwriting was trash. So I had to take, those calligraphy classes. And they never really took the time to be like, okay, let's properly, learn to efficiently write, but yeah, expressive language problem. So like, was that like the connotation and expressing those connotations in a sentence, uh, is that what was going on there? Or what do you mean by expressive language? We should do it more often. I try to, but it's sometimes I have a clear point of focus, and then other times I'm like, I'm just gonna do readings. Can't be receptive or expressive. I'm a lefty, so my handwriting was bad. See, I was right-handed. Yeah. Ah, I could not speak clearly. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. 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 Oh, that's me learning. Those are the sounds of me learning and connecting dots. Mm. Yeah, hello, Gunhild. Right, yeah, I said hi to you, Gunhild. Interesting to be here and just lurking and listening. Yeah, that's honestly, yeah, that's what I was doing in Dustin Modern Metaphysics live chat. Yeah, the other day. Um, Needed to practice enunciation. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah. What is this? I was disciplined in cursitor handwriting. Cursive, right? What is cursitor handwriting? Someone explain that. Yes, totally. Yeah, no casual conversation can ever totally answer large questions, but this discussion has been useful for me personally as it triggered other useful thoughts. So thank you. You're welcome. Just doing the Lord's work. uh, oh yeah, I'm just opinionated. I just got some ideas I want to say. I mean, it's like it's yeah. There's a difference between like sharing your opinion and also like fully knowing, an idea or a concept or an opinion is like full on offensive. Meanwhile, just because it's controversial or there's like a divide as to what is clear cut and what is exactly is, like I said, intuition. I feel like we did like finally pin down what intuition is. So if anyone's trying to make it more woo woo than anything, like they did with the word empath and empathy, it's not a magic superpower. It's basic social human function. The function. Um, same with intuition. Um, it's learned patterns that your brain already knows to skip over the pattern to do it. Sort of like how we read. How you say look at the word opinionated. You don't necessarily read all the letters. You don't go opinionated. No, you go faster than that. You go opinionated. Because the word is I'm it's O and the D. That's really what your brain really works with. All the inner letters could be mixed up and jumbled, and you'll still know what the word is trying to say. You know. So yeah, and that's where like intuition does that, where it kind of where it goes from the O to the D in opinionated, like that. So you're not having to process through the P and then the I and then the N and then the I and then you know, right? Now I'm second guessing. Let's go back to it. Let's run it back, people. No. So yeah, really, Pickles? You want to go back outside, Pickles? Really? Really? Ah, true. I should go out there too and get something to eat because I'm starving. Um, so yeah, let's see. Sorry, just having lunch same time here, so I'm in and out of chat room and I don't have keyboard. It's all good. It's all good. We're gonna probably close this off soon. It's already almost at the 3 hour mark. So yeah, I appreciate your engaging electric mind, Zach. It's kind of you to be so generous with your time. Honestly, when you have so much of it, you have so much of it like I do. Were you crying? Was that Pickles crying? Did y'all hear that? Did y'all pick that up on this mic? Let me see. I'll let her out. I'll go outside. Yeah, when you have a lot of free time like me, it's like I have nothing better to do. But again, I should be honestly like putting also this time into like script writing and video imagery designing and visualizing, actually working on my damn series. We'll get there. We'll get there. So yeah. Uh, Can you guys hear her? She wants, what is it? I think she wants me to go out there with her. I think that's what it is. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna call it a night here, you know. Let's see, exactly, you ain't an alien from a different galaxy. You just have human decency to feel emotions, even when you're not the center of attention. Yeah. Uh, I follow a psychologist on Instagram that posts a lot about empathy, and it has also been so enlightening. People confuse it with hypervigilance, being sensitive, and codependency. Yeah, it's for sure. It's yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're gonna call it a night there. 2 hours, 50 minutes. Yeah. Uh, yeah, this was a productive. Yeah. Uh, this is what it's like to have a conversation. So yeah, thank you everyone for stopping by. I hope you all enjoyed. Yeah, for another live. Yes. Thank you for the. Oh yes, and please put that IG real quick. Yeah, who is that? Yeah, who is that? Who is that psychologist on Instagram? Yeah, real quick. E. Don't leave without telling us. No, I think she left. Oh no. Patience pickles. Okay, never mind. Right? I know. Leave it in the comments. Oh, wait, there we go. The holistic psychologist with those dots, periods in there. I'm a slow typer. It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, the holistic psychologist on Instagram. So yeah. Okay, there we go. Bye everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and comment down below what other topics, concepts, ideas that we would like, a fully in-depth discussion on, and trying to clear out the weeds in this forest or whatever, or whatever. Anyways, bye everyone.